After walking out of the elevator, they arrived at a gigantic resting hall. Just this resting hall alone was around 300 to 400 square meters. There were sofas on the side of the resting hall, and quite a few people were sitting on the sofas waiting for Manager Feng to meet them. However, what they saw was a squad dressed like fighters didn't need to wait and directly headed towards Manager Feng's office. Manager Feng is inside, please. Miss Lu directly brought Luo Feng's group into Manager Feng's office. In the office, Luo Feng looked around. The decorations around him were crystal clear. The floor was made of tempered glass, and under the tempered glass were streams, fish, etc. Standing on the tempered glass, he could see quite a few fish under his feet. How luxurious, thought Luo Feng to himself. Gao Feng, looks like you guys earned quite a bit this time. A bald old man with a round face left his chair and laughed as he walked over. Come, sit over here. The group of people sat on the sofas on one side of the office. What's this time? Smiled the round-faced old man. Take it out and let me see. Old Feng, I'll open your eyes, laughed Gao Feng. Even though you, as a manager, receive a lot of fighter squads, you probably don't even see this stuff often. Luo Feng, take it out. Oh, Manager Feng was shocked and his eyes flashed. Luo Feng laughed as he looked at Manager Feng. He put his bag under his feet and then took out the most valuable silver moon wolf pelt. He placed the entire pelt on the ground and spread it out. It was like a flattened silver moon wolf. One could faintly see the ferocity of the silver moon wolf. Hunter. Manager Feng couldn't help but to stand up in shock. Good boy. Manager Feng couldn't help but to exclaim in his native dialect. Old Gao, this sure is a big deal. Such a large hunter, it's probably a high-level commander. With the silver moon wolf's speed, even a powerful fighter who just stepped into the war god level would have a hard time killing it. The silver moon wolf's speed is indeed shocking. It can reach the speed of sound when it's heavily injured. One can imagine its speed. Hee, this pelt is quite intact. Manager Feng looked carefully. Looks like this pelt was cut along the wound. However, the degree of completeness is indeed very high. Manager Feng's eyes lit up. The fur of the silver moon wolf was indeed the best material for clothing in the world's upper class. Although the fur had other uses, some of the world's big shots were still willing to pay a high price to make clothes. Wait for me. Manager Feng immediately ran to his desk. Then he quickly took out a password-protected box from the bookshelf behind his desk. Holding the password-protected box, Manager Feng rushed over. Gao Feng, don't be so slow. Take out the rest of the hunter's materials. Manager Feng urged with a smile. At the same time he opened the lockbox. There was a set of precision instruments carefully placed in the lockbox. When the set of instruments was activated, the top of the instrument immediately emitted a red light. Luo Feng took them out one by one from his backpack. Strange eyeballs, sharp claws, fangs, leg bones. You've gathered enough. Manager Feng's eyes lit up. The red light from the device shone on the fur and then on the eyes, claws, fangs and so on. A series of data appeared on the small screen of the device. Manager Feng stared at the data with a serious expression. At the same time he typed information through the virtual keyboard. After a moment, yup. These materials are indeed from the same hunter. This hunter is indeed a high-level commander. Right after Manager Feng finished, Gao Feng laughed on the side. It should be a high-level commander and existence close to the horde leader level. Even within the high-level commander rank, the difference is huge. The difference between a high-level commander that just stepped into the high-level commander level and a high-level commander that is close to the horde leader level can be several times stronger. Naturally, the difference in price is also huge. Hee, right, of course I can't hide this from you guys, laughed Manager Feng. Alright, name your price. The members of the Fire Hammer squad exchanged glances. Gao Feng signaled Luo Feng with his eyes. Luo Feng laughed and said, Manager Feng, what price do you think is suitable? There are a lot of prices in the Home of Limits and the HR Alliance's online market. Luo Feng knows quite a bit about this hunter. High-level commander-level monsters are sold for a lower price to the Dojo of Limits, since the Dojo of Limits will give quite a bit of contribution points. And high-level commander-level monsters are usually sold for between 50 million and 500 million in the HR Alliance's online market. Of course, this hunter's strength was very strong and it was extremely rare. Moreover, it was a wolf king, so the price would exceed the upper limit of the average price. How about this? These materials are really good. 600 million. Manager Feng took a deep breath and reported. Even for him, it was rare for him to do such a big business. Some of the materials from the corpses of low-level lord monsters were usually around this price. Gao Feng, Luo Feng and the others knew each other. Before they came, Luo Feng and the others discussed the price, so they had some ideas. Luo Feng saw in the fighter forums that someone in South America got a medium-level commander-level hunter and sold it for around 50 million Earth dollars. 50 million Earth coins was equivalent to 175 million Huaxia dollars. Even a middle-level commander-level hunter can be sold for this much. His was a high-level commander and it was close to a horde leader, so its price should be much higher. Old Feng, your price is too low. Gao Feng frowned. In South America, a middle-level commander hunter can be sold for 175 million Chinese dollars. It shouldn't be a problem for us to ask for 900 million or 1 billion, right? Gao Feng, don't play with me. There's no way 900 million or 1 billion can reach this price. Manager Feng laughed bitterly. Luo Feng laughed in his heart. Actually, when the team was discussing, they said that this hunter could be sold for 700 million, 800 million. Captain Gao Feng said that just to scare Manager Feng. This time, in order to kill this silver moon wolf, We even broke my brother's arm. Gao Feng's expression wasn't too good. I won't say much to you. One final price, 800 million Chinese dollars. If you agree then it's settled. Otherwise I'll have to find someone else. This time I didn't find anyone else but you, old Feng. This is because of our friendship. Manager Feng looked at Zhang Ku. Indeed. Zhang Ku's arm was broken. Looks like Manager Feng can't afford this price. Let's go. Gao Feng stood up. LuoFeng also immediately put away the silver moon wolf's fur and other items. 750 million, that's my limit. Manager Feng frowned. Gao Feng didn't say anything, so LuoFeng directly put everything away. Let's go. Gao Feng directly headed out. Gao Feng, 750 million is not bad. Manager Feng panted in anger. Seeing that Gao Feng and the others had opened the door and walked out, he shouted, "Come back, the price you said." LuoFeng, Gao Feng, Qinggu, and the others exchanged glances and let out a smile. Within the HR Alliance market, there were a dozen or so managers who purchased monster materials. The HR Alliance market adopted an elimination system. After a year, whoever's performance was the worst would be immediately stripped of their position as manager. Naturally, there would be new people to replace them. Under such great pressure, the managers naturally thought of ways to collect monster materials from the martial artists. In the office, you martial artists nowadays are too ruthless. As Manager Feng transferred the money, he sighed, the managers of the various regions and even the agents. There were also some martial artists who came to purchase monster materials from other martial artists. Due to the competition, the prices have become clear, and our profits are getting lower and lower. Seeing that you guys earned 800 million in one go, I, old Feng, also want to enter the wilderness to kill monsters. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that my old bones can't even beat a soldier-level monster. As he spoke, Manager Feng went through all the procedures for the transfer. Manager Feng, you've been in this business for so many years, your personal assets probably aren't any less than mine, laughed Gao Feng. I was lucky. Occasionally I come across a big deal and I can earn a bit from it. Manager Feng let out a smile. Gao Feng laughed, you'll earn at least 8 digits from this deal. Not that much. Manager Feng shook his head. Okay, it's done. The 800 million Chinese dollars has already been transferred to your fighter squad's account. Gao Feng and Qinggu, the captain and vice captain, both received a notification on their tactical communications watches. The notification told them that their accounts had increased by 800 million Chinese dollars. Old Feng, you sure are straightforward, laughed Gao Feng. In the future when there are big deals like this, you have to take care of me, laughed Manager Feng. Right now we managers are under a lot of pressure. If I can become a headquarters city manager, then I'll be much more relaxed. Okay, Gao Feng nodded. However, powerful monsters are hard to deal with. My bro's arm was broken. Yeah, a broken arm? Manager Feng shook his head and sighed. Even though there are treasures that can regrow a broken arm, the price is astronomical. But the price is sky-high. Ordinary warriors can't even think about it. Regrow a broken arm? LuoFeng's mind went blank. When he first became a fighter, LuoFeng searched for some special medicine on the internet. However, he couldn't find any medicine that could regrow a broken arm or leg. LuoFeng always thought that this medicine didn't exist. There's such a medicine? Gao Feng was also shocked. Manager Feng, what is that? Can a broken leg grow back? LuoFeng also asked excitedly. Holy. His brother has been crippled for so many years. If he can make his brother stand up again, then it would be worth it even if he risked his life. Yes, it's the legendary Elixir of Life. Not just a broken arm or a broken leg, even if half a body is cut off, it can grow back, sighed Manager Feng. However, this thing uses an existence that surpasses the Horde leader level, the undefeatable Emperor-level monster, Earth Dragon King, as the main material to create it. How many Earth Dragon Kings are there in the entire world? So, every portion of the Elixir of Life costs an astronomical price. And it's so rare that it won't be sold on the internet. Our alliance doesn't have any. Right now, the price has already reached 30 billion Chinese dollars per portion, and there's no market for it. 30 billion per portion? There's no market for it? LuoFeng's heart raced. As he thought about his brother sitting in his wheelchair and silently looking at the scenery outside, LuoFeng couldn't help but to clench his fist. No matter what, I have to make my brother stand up again. For sure. However, LuoFeng was very clear on how hard it is to earn 30 billion. A weak low-level Horde leader-level monster can be sold for 500 to 1 billion Chinese dollars. Even if he hunts them by himself and kills 10 Horde leader-level monsters in a year, he'll probably only earn around 5 to 6 billion. Keep in mind that even War God-level fighters have a hard time killing Horde leader-level monsters. Earning 5 to 6 billion in a year is considered average among War God-level fighters. Even so, he'll still have to work hard for 6 to 7 years. What's more, he's not even a War God-level fighter right now. He was lucky enough to meet a heavily injured hunter, but how can he be lucky every time? Even though earning 30 billion Chinese dollars is hard. With my potential as a spirit reader, if I work hard, it's not impossible. However, killing the Earth Dragon King. LuoFeng laughed bitterly to himself. The Horde leader level is already terrifying. And the existence that surpasses the Horde leader level, the Emperor level, is the pinnacle of monsters on Earth. And among humans, there are existences that surpass the War God level. For example, the world's strongest fighter, Hong, and the world's second strongest fighter, Thunder God, are existences that surpass the war god level. However, existences like these are extremely rare. Want to kill the Earth Dragon King? Even the strongest fighters on Earth wouldn't dare to say that they're 100% confident. Haha, Elixir of Life. Captain, when you guys reach the level of the world's strongest fighter, Hong, throw away some money and buy me some Elixir of Life, laughed Zhang Ke. Zhang Ke laughed. The members of the Firehammer squad couldn't help but laugh. Reaching the level of Hong? To be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with the government's army, 30 billion is indeed a small amount of money to them. However, how many people in this world can reach that level? Let's go eat, laughed Gao Feng. On the third floor of the HR Alliance's market, in a private room of a restaurant, the table was filled with dishes. The members of the Firehammer squad were all gathered around a laptop at the edge of the room. Captain Gao Feng quickly passed through the fingerprint scanner, keyed in a 3-layer dynamic password, and entered the Firehammer squad's public account. 800 million Chinese dollars according to what we agreed on before. LuoFeng's contribution from start to finish was all due to LuoFeng, so LuoFeng gets the highest, 80%. The other 5 of us will split the last 20%. No objections, right? Gao Feng looked towards everyone. Everyone nodded. LuoFeng too smiled. The various distribution rules of a martial artist team had to consider both competition and unity. LuoFeng gets 640 million, each of us gets 32 million. Gao Feng swiftly transferred the money. Transfer successful. Notifications appeared on the computer one after another. LuoFeng lowered his head and looked at his tactical communications watch. The tactical communications watch already received a notification. His balance increased by another 640 million. LuoFeng is treating today, laughed Gao Feng as he yelled. That's right, we're going to rip off some rich people. Chingu also had an indignant look on his face. This time it's almost catching up to what I've earned over the years. It's really enviable. The members of the Firehammer squad chatted and laughed casually, eating and drinking in big mouthfuls. They were very carefree. Every time they came out of the wilderness, they had actually walked out from the line of death. In the wilderness, especially when they entered the dilapidated city area, they were always on tenterhooks. In those cities, no one dared to relax. After all, there were too many monster hordes and commander-level monsters in the cities. Come, let us brothers have a drink. Old Zhang, we've been brothers for almost 10 years. Who knows how many times you've saved me on the battlefield. Enough talk, come, cheers. Since Zhang Ke was about to leave this table, everyone was a bit sad. At the same time, the addition of Luo Feng, a spirit reader, filled everyone with hope for the future. Everyone's feelings were complicated, so they happily drank and chatted. Only after eating until around 9 p.m. did the group enter a tea house and find a room to rest. In the room, everyone had a cup of tea in front of them. Zhang Ke will be an instructor in the dojo from now on. Gao Feng looked at everyone. Our Firehammer squad will have 5 people in the future. Me, Luo Feng, Qinggu, Wei Tai and Wei Qing. And Luo Feng is a spirit reader, so he's stronger than me right now. His improvement speed will definitely be even more shocking. No one was unhappy that Luo Feng was strong. With a strong fighter in the squad, the survival rate of the squad is higher. It's easier for the squad to hunt monsters. And they earn more money. For example, if Luo Feng didn't kill the hunter, how could the other members of the squad get 32 million? Even though Luo Feng ate the meat and they only drank the soup, this soup was much more than what they earned from the commander-level monsters they worked so hard to hunt. However, Luo Feng is the strongest out of the 5 of us. I think that we can't drag Luo Feng down, said Gao Feng. Wei Qing and Wei Tai's faces slightly changed. Both of them were advanced warrior level, so they were indeed dragging Luo Feng down. Captain, I'm also a newbie, Luo Feng couldn't help but to say. Luo Feng, that's not what I meant, smiled Gao Feng. Wei Tai, Wei Qing, you brothers don't think too much. What I meant was that our squad's goal for hunting monsters in the future should be even higher. So the first goal of our Firehammer squad, all members must become warlords. Captain. Wei Tai couldn't help but to say, my brother and I are still a bit away from the warlord level. I understand, laughed Gao Feng confidently. I have an idea. Gao Feng smiled confidently. I have an idea. What do you guys think? Luo Feng nodded. Wei Tai, Wei Qing and Qinggu all listened. Wei Tai, Wei Qing and Qinggu, each of you will buy an A-grade genetic medicine, said Gao Feng. This way, just based on body fitness level, Wei Tai, Wei Qing, and you guys can directly enter the beginner level warlord level. Qinggu's strength and speed will also greatly increase, nearing the warlord level. Luo Feng slightly frowned. Right now, the mainstream genetic medicine is split into a grade and B grade. B grade is for normal people to use, allowing them to become a fighter. However, those who rely on genetic medicine to become a fighter usually have average strength in the future. A grade genetic medicine is for fighters to use. After using it, one's strength usually doubles. Of course, if one's strength is already extremely high, the effects of the genetic medicine will decrease. However, an A-grade genetic medicine, even at half price in the dojo of limits, still costs 360 million Chinese dollars. Captain, I've worked hard for so many years, but including today's earnings, I only have 430 million. Wei Tai frowned. With my speed of improvement, the beginner level warlord level is pretty much my limit. I won't be able to make much money in the future, so I'll throw all of it in. After I quit, how much will I have left? People have to think about the future. Money isn't easy to earn. After working hard for over 10 years, I only earned 430 million. and I'm getting old. Spending 360 million to buy genetic medicine? Won't all my years of hard work be wasted on this? Captain, I use hot weapons so I spend a lot of money. 360 million all at once. Qinggu was a bit hesitant. Don't worry. LuoFeng slightly smiled. You don't need that much money to buy an A-grade genetic medicine. Back then when I just became a fighter I was still a newbie. At that time I joined a fighter squad and I had a life and death brother. Right now this life and death brother of mine is already an advanced level warlord. He has a way. He only needs 200 million to get a portion of the gene medicine. 200 million? Wei Tai, Wei Qing and Qinggu were shocked. This 200 million? LuoFeng was also shocked. In the home of limits online market, half price is basically the lowest price on the market. Even half price costs 360 million, and LuoFeng has a way to buy it for only 200 million? I'll ask my good brother to buy it first. After he buys it, you guys can pay me in exchange for this genetic medicine. Do you guys believe me now? Laughed LuoFeng. Actually, there's something else he didn't say. Only his brother's internal organization has a special discount for internal members. And to prevent internal members from selling it, if they buy too much, the internal organization will raise the price, etc. However, LuoFeng would rather fork out more money himself than let Qinggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing fork out more money, since he has more money than the other members of the squad. In the future, everyone in our team will be at the warlord level. LuoFeng slightly smiled. Qinggu will be in charge of suppressing fire and so on. Wei Tai and Wei Qing will be in charge of clearing out the normal soldier level monsters. LuoFeng and I will focus on the commander level monsters. With our squad's efficiency, we can definitely kill large amounts of commander level monsters. In the future, our earning speed will be 10 times faster than before or even higher. LuoFeng couldn't help but to be happy. According to what LuoFeng said, the future Firehammer squad will become absolute elites. With the entire squad being at the warlord level and him being a spirit reader, this squad's strength will be insane. After listening to LuoFeng's explanation, although Wei Tai, Wei Qing and Qinggu were shocked by their leader's wide network of connections, they still nodded in agreement. They also knew that the strength of the Firehammer squad would soar rapidly in the future. If they couldn't keep up, then, at a certain point they could only be abandoned. After that, LuoFeng's group split up in the HR Alliance market and rode the train back home. Yangzhou City, Mingyue District. Right now it was already late at night. A Volkswagen Touareg SUV used by the Dojo of Limits wasn't stopped and entered the district. The Touareg directly stopped in front of the Dojo of Limits. At this time, Qinggu's, Zhang Ke's and LuoFeng's families were already gathered in front of the Dojo of Limits. There were also quite a few people like the head of the Dojo of Limits like Wu Tong. LuoFeng opened the door and got off the car. He immediately saw his father, mother and his brother in a wheelchair. Brother? Luohua was the first to shout. Luohua, Dad, Mom. LuoFeng hugged his parents and also hugged his brother. LuoFeng could feel his parents' happiness. Beside them, Qinggu and Zhang Ke were also with their families. However, Zhang Ke's wife and daughter's faces were full of tears. Although they knew that Zhang Ke had lost his arm, they still cried. Wife, good daughter, I will always be with you in the future, always. Zhang Ke's face showed no sign of sadness. Brother Zhang. LuoFeng glanced at it. Before, the Tiger Fang squad attacked the Firehammer squad because of his grudge with Zhang Zehu, so there's a high chance of this happening. Our dojo's 3 heroes have returned safely. It's getting late, so everyone should rest well. Director Wu Tong laughed. Immediately the group of people laughed and separated. LuoFeng and his family also returned home. After returning home, LuoFeng could completely relax. On the first day of returning home, LuoFeng didn't train and instead completely relaxed. Wearing a loose exercise suit, he strolled leisurely in the neighborhood alone. His footsteps were naturally light and carefree. Complete relaxation from the mind to the body. In the afternoon, the September sun was still scorching hot. LuoFeng, come to the clubhouse, Qinggu called. The captain is here. Oh, I'll be right there. LuoFeng immediately rushed to the limit hall. In the bar on the first floor of the limit hall, the curtains on the window were drawn to prevent sunlight from entering. LuoFeng, Qinggu and LuoFeng were sitting together. LuoFeng, these are the 2 9 series throwing knives you wanted. LuoFeng smiled and handed it over. It's a total of 45 million. You rich guy, hurry up and transfer it over. If you're willing to pay a little more as an errand fee, I don't mind at all. 9th series throwing knives? LuoFeng immediately received the beautifully packaged box. When he opened the box, he saw that it was divided into 2 layers, with 2 flying knives with black handles and blades respectively placed inside. Before, Qinggu and the others asked LuoFeng to help them buy some genetic medicine, and LuoFeng asked the captain to help him buy 2 9 series throwing knives. To LuoFeng, a good throwing knife is very important. Be it flying daggers or other weapons, the higher the price, the more exaggerated it became. Flying daggers were cheap because they were small in size and used less materials. Even a high lord rank monster would find it difficult to destroy a 9th series flying knife. Captain, 45 million has been transferred. LuoFeng directly transferred the money through his cell phone. I didn't even pay a single cent more, LuoFeng purposefully said. LuoFeng, since you're so rich now, why don't you buy a good blade? A battle uniform set? Laughed Qinggu. He was in a great mood after receiving the genetic medicine. LuoFeng shook his head. Throwing knives are light and use very little materials. Only I can afford it. Blade, battle uniform? The full price of a 9th series Blood Shadow Saber was 3 billion Chinese dollars. A 9th series battle uniform set is even more ridiculously expensive. The full price is 12 billion Chinese dollars. How can I afford it? The price difference between a warrior, warlord and wargod level weapon is indeed huge. He's only buying throwing knives. A battle uniform that even a horde leader level monster can't tear apart isn't strange at all. As for his advanced warrior level body fitness level, if he's wearing an 8th or 9th series battle uniform, even if the battle uniform isn't torn apart, the impact from the claw of a horde leader level monster is enough to shatter his organs. Even if this beggar wears a dragon robe, he won't be a prince. For someone with a warrior's body to wear a wargod's battle uniform, it was a waste of the battle uniform. Combat uniforms are much more expensive than flying knives. LuoFeng laughed. LuoFeng is right. His current 5th series battle uniform is more than enough for his body fitness level. LuoFeng, said LuoFeng. LuoFeng looked at the captain. Right now, Chenggu and the two-way brothers. The three of them needed to consume the gene potions, and for the effects of the gene potions to be fully unleashed, they would need about a month's time. Moreover, after their strength increased, they would also need to go through 1 or 2 months of training to adapt to the greater power. So, we might need to rest for 2 to 3 months. After that, we'll enter the wilderness, LuoFeng said. Chenggu also nodded. I understand. LuoFeng smiled and nodded. I'll also take this opportunity to properly train. I also gained a lot from this trip into the wilderness. Come back and think about it. Yes. LuoFeng nodded with a smile. When the time comes, if we want to meet, let's meet in the main city of the base city. It's indeed quite a detour to get here from my house. Sure. LuoFeng and Chenggu both nodded. The main city area of the base city is the center of the entire base city. It's very convenient to go from Yangzhou City or any other city. After saying goodbye to the captain, LuoFeng brought the 2 throwing knives home. That night, in LuoFeng's home's training hall, in the middle of the ceiling, there was a transparent glass that was around a meter wide. The watery moonlight shone through the glass. Sitting in the training hall, LuoFeng could even see through the glass and see the infinite stars in the sky with a glance. Hoo! The 2 black throwing knives slowly flew around LuoFeng's body. In my realm of consciousness there's a dark golden ball. The dark golden ball contains a large amount of spiritual force. However, my body isn't strong enough, so it can't handle the amount of spiritual force. LuoFeng slowly thought to himself, right now what I need to do is to use the fastest method to increase the strength of my body fitness level. The stronger my body, the stronger my spiritual force will be. Until one day the dark golden ball runs out and disappears. After that, LuoFeng started to seriously train according to the 9-stage Thunderblade instruction manual and the video that came with it. Technique, Flowing Light, Dao Yin Technique, 9-stage Hunyuan, Blade Technique, Thunderblade. And the first stage of the Thunderblade, LuoFeng already mastered it in the wilderness. Pu. Late at night, LuoFeng was in the training hall. Whether it was slashes, LuoFeng was using the 9-stage Thunderblade's method of exerting force. Each slash contained 2 different forces, and LuoFeng's muscles also instantly released an extra force each time. While he was chopping, he would instantly release another hidden force. This puts a huge burden on his bones, muscle cells, etc. Tired? After continuously training for an hour and a half, LuoFeng was so tired that he sat cross-legged on the ground, unable to move. The 9-stage Thunderblade actually puts a huge burden on every part of his body. After resting for 5 minutes, LuoFeng trained his Dao Yin Technique 9-stage Hunyuan. His originally exhausted body felt like it was soaking in a hot spring, making LuoFeng's body feel a bit comfortable. After training his Blade Technique and Dao Yin Technique finally, LuoFeng started the most primitive, the Wu Xin Xiang Tian genetic energy training method that even the strongest fighters in the world have to refer to. Xi. Once LuoFeng started training, he felt as if every cell in his body was starving. The newly generated genetic energy was crazily devoured, and his training speed actually increased by a bit. 1 minute, 2 minutes. As time went on, LuoFeng became more and more shocked. Finally, every cell in his body was full, as if they were stuffed and couldn't eat anymore. The amount of genetic energy I absorbed today is almost double what I absorbed before. LuoFeng was completely stunned. The instruction manual said that the more I train in the 9-stage Thunderblade, the more genetic energy I absorb. So it's this much. LuoFeng didn't think it would be this exaggerated. The instruction manual also explained the theory. No matter how hard a person trains, they'll be so tired that they can't move. That's because the muscles produce too much lactic acid, so the muscles are all tired. Many of the cells in the body don't even participate in the exercise. However, LuoFeng's 9-stage Thunderblade exerts force by instantly releasing a hidden force. This force exerts force from deep within the body. All of the cells in the body participate. Just like how when a person exercises a lot, their appetite increases. When the body cells use up a lot of energy, their appetite also increases, allowing them to eat even more genetic energy. I'm only at the first stage, yet I can absorb this much genetic energy. How fast will I be when I reach the 9th stage? Not only will my training speed be fast, but the power of my blade technique will also increase at a shocking rate. No wonder he's one of the strongest fighters on Earth. He's known as #1 in speed and body. LuoFeng was amazed. What does it mean for his body to improve quickly? It means that the amount of spiritual force Luo Feng can handle will also increase rapidly. From this day onwards, Luo Feng trained himself to the limit. And he also found the best training method, which is to practice the flowing light footwork while swinging his blade. The speed doesn't have to be fast, but every step and blade technique has to be serious. When his footwork and blade technique are exhausted, he will start his Daoyin technique training. After practicing the Daoyin technique, his stamina will recover quite a bit. He will start his footwork and blade technique training again. After that, he will start his Daoyin technique training. Finally, he will start his genetic energy training. This method is the most efficient. The entire process would take about 6 hours. This is the fastest way to improve one's fitness level that Luo Feng figured out. Actually, spirit readers have large amounts of spiritual force to help them, so their bodies already improve quickly. Luo Feng is also training in Earth's ultimate 9-stage Thunderblade, so his improvement speed is even more shocking. Luo Feng is improving almost every day, and in the blink of an eye, almost a month has passed. Hoo! Hoo! Every swing of Luo Feng's blade created a sharp whistling sound in the training hall, and the wind naturally dissipated when it touched the walls of the training hall. This villa was specially built by the Dojo of Limits, so the walls of the training hall were naturally built with care. HM? A call from the captain? Luo Feng walked to the side and picked up the phone. Luo Feng, it's been almost a month. Qinggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing used the genetic medicine, so their strength has pretty much increased. I'm thinking, should we meet up? Gao Feng asked through the phone. Right now, the strongest fighter of the Firehammer squad is Luo Feng, and Luo Feng's position will only solidify in the future. So Gao Feng wanted to hear Luo Feng's opinion first. Sure, long time no see everyone. Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. This month he was almost addicted to training. However, this rapid improvement process was indeed very satisfying. Alright, I think we should go to the HR Alliance market. The service there is the best, said Gao Feng. What do you think? When should we meet up? Okay. Luo Feng suddenly thought of something. He remembered what Xu Xin said before. I'm starting school in a few days, but during college I'll be the manager here on Saturdays and Sundays. Captain, I think we should meet this Saturday, said Luo Feng. Saturday? Alright, this Saturday. October 7, 2056, Saturday, was also the day the 5 members of the Firehammer squad agreed to meet at the HR Alliance's market. Morning. A beautifully curved sports car emitting an elegant aura slowly drove into the plaza of the HR Alliance's market. It directly stopped in front of the lobby of the HR skyscraper. Luo Feng and Qinggu, who were wearing casual clothes, got off the car and were welcomed into the lobby of the first floor by the doorman. Alright, please wait a moment, sir. As soon as Luo Feng stepped into the lobby, he saw Xu Xin, who was wearing a white shirt like a professional, smiling as she chatted with some fighters. Suddenly, she accidentally saw a shadow walking towards the bar. After looking carefully, Xu Xin's eyes couldn't help but to flash with surprise. Luo Feng. Xu Xin laughed as she yelled. Xu Xin. Luo Feng laughed as he stood by the bar. Give me a cup of pu'er tea. Oh yeah, do you have time? Let's chat with our old classmates? Xu Xin hesitated for a bit, then laughed as she told the waiter beside her. After that, she walked out of the bar and laughed. There aren't many customers here today, so it's not that busy. Let's go, Luo Feng, over there and chat. At this time, Qinggu, who was sitting on a sofa in the distance, gave Luo Feng a big thumbs up. In a quiet corner of the bar, Luo Feng and Xu Xin sat facing each other. Luo Feng, when did you come back from the wilderness last time? Not long ago? Xu Xin sat there quietly, holding a cup of tea. The green tea leaves reflected a hint of green light on the transparent teacup. I've been back for a while, replied Luo Feng. Xu Xin let out a smile and couldn't help but to laugh. You've been back for so long and you haven't even come to see your old classmates. Are you looking down on your old classmates? Out of my 3 years of high school, only you, Luo Feng, became a fighter. I've been waiting for the day when you become famous so I can go out and show off. Hehe, Xu Xin, what university are you in right now? Asked Luo Feng. Luo Feng and Xu Xin just sat there and casually chatted, talking about their current lives. Even though Luo Feng has a crush on Xu Xin and Xu Xin knows that Luo Feng is interested in her, the two of them consciously didn't touch anything and just quietly chatted. Luo Feng was quite satisfied with this seemingly peaceful chat. At this time, a youth wearing a black shirt and black pants walked out of the elevator. He glanced around and saw Xu Xin and Luo Feng in the corner of the bar. Who is Xiao Xin chatting with? The youth frowned and looked carefully. It seems to be one of the 3 advanced students in Xin's high school, Luo Feng. He knew a lot about the high school that Xu Xin went to, and he's also read about the famous Luo Feng, Zhang Haobai, and a few others. The youth let out a cold smile. A few days ago when we were eating at home, little Xin even mentioned this Luo Feng. It turns out that both of them have contacted each other. The young man walked to the other side of the bar and sat down silently. Luo Feng felt like he was having a great time chatting with Xu Xin. Someone at the bar seemed to be calling Xu Xin. Xu Xin stood up and said apologetically, Luo Feng, sorry, I have to go do something. Go, don't worry about me. Luo Feng smiled. Little Xin, is this your friend? At this time a male voice rang. Luo Feng turned his head and saw a handsome youth that looked a bit like Xu Xin standing on the side. He smiled as he looked at Xu Xin, and then smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Xu Xin said happily, Bro, you came to the market today too. Oh yeah, this is my old classmate Luo Feng. Bro, I have to go do something so you can chat with Luo Feng. Sure, go ahead, the youth nodded. He turned his head and looked at Luo Feng. Hello Luo Feng, let me introduce myself. I am Xu Xin's brother, Xu Gang. Brother? If he can get Xu Xin, then wouldn't he be his brother-in-law? Hello, Luo Feng also stood up and shook hands with him. Hello Luo Feng. Xu Gang smiled as he sat down. I've heard of your name a long time ago. Apparently my sister's high school only had 3 advanced students, and you were one of them. And I heard my sister say that you're an official fighter now? Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Ah, that's pretty impressive, an 18-year-old fighter, Xu Gang praised and then smiled. My sister is very low-key in school, right? She's very low-key. No one can tell how rich her family is. Luo Feng also laughed. Xu Xin was indeed a simple and quiet girl back then. Xu Gang's face was full of smiles. Haha, actually my grandfather was worried that the missy of the family would become spoiled, so he insisted that she enter a normal school instead of an elite school. He wanted her to experience the life of a normal person up close. Now it seems that my sister is doing quite well. Luo Feng frowned. Missy of the family? He already knew that Xu Xin was the missy of the Xu family. She didn't tell you about her family's situation? Xu Gang asked in confusion. She didn't, but I know about the Xu family. Luo Feng smiled calmly. This is one of the 12 financial groups of the HR alliance in the country. Luo Feng could already feel the deep meaning behind Xu Gang's words. Xu Gang didn't say it himself and just used another topic to bring out one thing. Xu Xin is the missy of the Xu family. Oh, you know. Xu Gang sighed. Actually, large families have their own problems. For example, sometimes they can't get what they want when it comes to marriage. Like my sister, there are quite a few excellent young people chasing after her. For example, Wang Xingping from Kyoto City, and a 21-year-old intermediate warlord-level fighter, Guahai, from Jiangnan City. Luo Feng froze. Someone chasing after Xu Xin? That Guahai sure is thick-skinned, scolded Xu Gang as he shook his head. Isn't he just a warlord-level fighter? He really thinks that he's some kind of joke. Our Xu family has some status in the world, so how could we easily let our missy marry off to a fighter who can't even guarantee his own safety? Who knows when this fighter will die in the wilderness? Luo Feng frowned. Luo Feng, am I right? Fighters walk on the edge of life and death. Who knows when they will die? How could our family let our missy marry a fighter, right? Laughed Xu Gang as he asked. When he saw Luo Feng's expression he laughed. Oh, don't think too much. I wasn't talking about you. Luo Feng was in a bad mood. Wasn't talking about me? Not to mention anything else, this Xu Gang just had to bring this up. He was clearly telling Luo Feng that the missy of the Xu family would never marry a fighter who might die at any time. So you, Luo Feng, better not think too highly of yourself. Actually, sighed Xu Gang, comparatively speaking, I like that Wang Xingping more. Wang Xingping is the young master of the Wang family of Kyoto City. The Wang family also controls a huge amount of wealth. All they need to do is sign documents and issue orders at home. They can get quite a few fighters to work for them without risking their lives. As a brother, of course I want my sister to have a stable life, sighed Xu Gang. Compared to fighters, this young master of a huge family with a huge amount of wealth is a good match for my sister. Fighters? First-class families like the Wang family and my Xu family, which one of them doesn't have a group of general-level martial artists under their command? Not to mention the countless warrior-level fighters, laughed Xu Gang as he shook his head. From Xu Gang's tone, it was clear that he didn't care about fighters at all. He was even more disdainful of warrior-level fighters. He has the ability. The HR Alliance, one of the 12 financial groups of China, does indeed control a large amount of warlord-level fighters, and even a sea of warrior-level fighters. Luo Feng, a voice carried from afar. Luo Feng turned his head and saw that Captain Gao Feng and the Wei Jia brothers had already arrived and were sitting with Chen Gu. Luo Feng laughed as he yelled, Captain, I'm coming. Young Master Xu Gang, laughed Luo Feng as he looked at Xu Gang. Xu Gang let out a smile. Actually, after saying so much before, Xu Gang believed that Luo Feng understood what he meant. His family doesn't even care about a 21-year-old intermediate warlord-level fighter. You Luo Feng just became a fighter, so you should know your place and stop bothering my sister. Young Master Xu Gang, your Xu family sure is amazing to be able to control a bunch of warlord-level fighters, said Luo Feng with a smile. Luo Feng smiled. However, I don't know if your Xu family can get a war god fighter to come and go as you please? Xu Gang froze. War god fighter? How many are there in Jiangnan City? As he watched Luo Feng leave, Xu Gang raised the wine cup in his hand and took a sip. He thought to himself, Luo Feng, I've been tactful enough in saying so much to you and giving you face. I hope you know your place. If you pester my sister again in the future, don't blame me for taking action. Xu Gang smiled and drank the wine in his cup in one gulp. Xiao Xin, I have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Xu Gang said goodbye to Xu Xin at the bar and left the hall. On the 3rd floor of the HR Alliance shopping center, in a private room of a tea house. Luo Feng. Qinggu laughed, that Xu Xin chatted with you for so long. In my opinion, that young lady is also interested in you. It won't be hard for you to win her heart. Moreover, Xu Xin's brother chatted with you for such a long time. Could it be that he's taken a fancy to you, his brother-in-law? Did she fancy her brother-in-law? Luo Feng laughed. Brother Qin didn't hear what Xu Xin's brother, Xu Gang, said. Don't talk nonsense, it's mainly because Xu Xin and I used to be classmates, laughed Luo Feng. Gao Feng couldn't help but laugh. Since she's an old classmate, it's even easier to woo her. Don't you see how many of the couples who got married now used to be old classmates? Right? Luo Feng put in more effort. Wei Tai also wished for the world to be in chaos as he chuckled. That lady Xu Xin is really not bad. There are many people in the martial arts circle who praise this underground alliance's first floor lobby bar. The female manager on Saturday and Sunday is not bad. All the perverts want to play with this female manager. But they found out that Xu Xin's background is not small, so they didn't dare to make a move. Luo Feng laughed. Play with the eldest daughter of the Xu family? People with such thoughts would probably not even know how they died. Captain, let's not talk about this. Luo Feng smiled. Let's talk business. Ah. Gao Feng smiled. You three, tell me what level is your physical fitness now? Wei Tai put down his teacup and was the first to speak. Captain, my current fish strength is about 9,650 kilograms, and my speed is 102 meters per second. My nerve reaction test is qualified beginner warlord level. Yes, I have entered the beginner warlord level. Gao Feng nodded. Captain. Wei Qing also said, my fist strength is about 9,510 kilograms, and my speed is 106 meters per second. My nerve reaction test is qualified as a junior warlord. Gao Feng and Luo Feng slightly nodded. Haha, my turn. Qinggu chuckled. My fist strength is about 7,100 kilograms, my speed is 81 meters per second, and my nerve reaction test is excellent beginner warlord level. Brother Chen's reaction speed is so fast, Luo Feng couldn't help but to compliment. Gao Fengyi smiled and said, he's a gun user and his reaction speed has always been very fast. After consuming the gene potion, his reaction speed became even faster. Looks like I can use a faster gun. It was very rare for a martial artist who used firearms to be qualified as a junior warlord in terms of reflexes. Not to mention that Qinggu's reaction was excellent beginner warlord level. Good. For the three of you, the effects of the gene potions are still acceptable. Gao Feng looked at Wei Tai and Wei Qing. Wei Tai, you two brothers still have to continue working hard. Although it had been almost a month, the effects of the gene potion had yet to dissipate completely. If you work hard in your cultivation, you will be able to dig out some. Understood. Wei Tai and Wei Qing nodded. Gao Feng looked at Qinggu. Old Qin, you should change your machine gun. Yes, I should. Qinggu nodded. Qinggu's firearms were a machine gun and a heavy sniper rifle. The machine gun's maximum speed was 300 bullets per minute, which is an average of 5 bullets per second. With Qinggu's reaction speed in the past, out of the 5 bullets he fired in a second, 4 of them could hit the heads of the 4 monsters, and 1 of them could hit the body of the 5th monster. In other words, for Qinggu, a machine gun's fire was basically a burst fire. This required an extremely terrifying reaction speed. Qinggu's reaction speed was hundreds or thousands of times faster than people before the Grand Nirvana period, so it wasn't strange for him to do this. I'm preparing to get an RG-112 heavy machine gun. It has a caliber of 12.7 millimeters and is extremely powerful. Qinggu's eyes flashed. It can fire 1,500 bullets per minute. This machine gun could be considered the fastest machine gun used by a hot weapon martial artist. If it's any faster, then it's pointless. In this era, machine guns can fire 700 to 800 bullets per minute, and some can even fire over 10,000 bullets per minute. However, the utilization rate was too low. With Qinggu's current reaction speed, he could shoot out 10 bullets in 1 second. He could control the 10 bullets to hit the monster's head. This was efficiency. After old Qin buys his own gun, he should familiarize himself with it and ponder over the gun's characteristics. Gao Feng nodded with a smile. Wei Tai, you and your brothers should also train hard at home. Although your body's quality has improved, you must try your best to convert your body's quality into powerful fighting strength. Try your best to use every bit of strength. Don't worry, Captain. Wei Tai and Wei Qing nodded. Luo Feng let out a smile. This was the way of thinking of the Chinese martial artists. They had to find a way to unleash 10% of their strength. Controlling strength, using little effort to overcome 1,000 caddies and so on were Oriental ideas, which were different from Westerners. And now, the strongest person in the world, Hong, was a Chinese. The second strongest person in the world, God of Thunder, was a mixture of Eastern and Western blood, and he also had Chinese blood in him. Some of the ideas of Chinese martial arts were indeed very popular among the world's martial artists. Captain, Brother Qin, Brother Tai, Brother Qing. Luo Feng looked towards them and smiled. I trained hard at home for a month and my body's strength increased quite a bit. However, I feel that my technique, blade technique, etc. still improves the most when I fight against monsters. No matter how much you train your blade technique at home, you're just imagining your enemies. How could training your blade technique compare to actually fighting against monsters? So, I'm preparing to enter the wilderness alone and train my technique, said Luo Feng. What, alone? Gao Feng, Qinggu and the others' faces changed. Yeah, Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Actually, he had this thought for a long time, but it wasn't firm enough. Su Gang's words from before moved him. If you want to become a powerful fighter that stands at the peak of the world, then you can't slack off at all. So Luo Feng decided to increase his strength as much as possible. That's too dangerous, said Gao Feng. No, Captain. I'm only preparing to train my blade technique in the number 0231 country beside the military sector, explained Luo Feng. I won't be going to any other big cities. Number 0231 country? The one beside the military sector? Gao Feng, Qinggu, and the Wei brothers all heaved a sigh of relief. The monsters around the military base were weak to begin with. Monsters like the Lord Tier did not dare to stay in the county town next to the military base. So, in the counties next to the military area, there were pretty much all soldier-level monsters. There weren't many commander-level monsters, and most of them were low-level commander-level monsters. Even middle-level commander-level monsters were rare. Because there aren't many commander-level monsters, each low-level commander-level monster can command hundreds or even thousands of soldier-level monsters. Commander-level monsters are rare, and they usually come in large groups. How could a martial artist squad kill them? In other words, generally, a slightly more powerful martial artist team would not even bother to stay in a county town like this because there was no profit to be made. Anyway, that county is close to the military. Luo Feng laughed. I'm preparing to go hunting and practice my blade skills in the day, then return to the resupplying base to rest at night. Because of the short distance and Luo Feng's fast speed, he could naturally go back and forth between the city and the resupply base. That number 0231 city doesn't have any strong commander-level monsters. But there are a lot of normal soldier-level monsters. Wei Tai couldn't help but say, once we're surrounded. Taizi, is Luo Feng afraid of being surrounded? Laughed Chingu. Wei Tai and Wei Qing were startled, then they laughed. Beast hordes are scary, but spirit readers are a group of people who are least afraid of beast hordes. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming great videos.